classes by checking in with, so first question. Do you start your classes by checking in with students in a particular way? Any strategies that are your go-tos? Great question. The first thing I say, and I write it up on the board, is what's the best thing that happened to you? You know, what is the best thing that happened to you since I last saw you? And this does a couple things. They can just use one word, and they all go up as very active engagement, is that the students get to see what, we know students are very isolated even before COVID, right? They're always looking at the phone. They get to see what's happening, then they just write out coffee, good parking spot, any of those things. So that's one of the techniques that I'll use. And then whatever the activity is that I'm doing, then I'll, like if I'm doing a personality, then they'll write it up on the board. But yeah, the best thing is a really good check-in. And that makes a really big difference for them. And then I can, and Adriana, all of you, you can certainly email me. I have a blog post to go with every lesson that I shared today. And every one of my blog posts on Thriving Under Pressure, so it's just drandrea.dinardo.com, has videos that go with it and resources that go with it. That's what really helps me when I'm feeling out of control in a situation. I'll write about it, and then I can help 100 students at once. So yeah, Belle's very extroverted. Yeah, so that has been one of your biggest challenges. I'm more of an ambivert now, so and that's more of an extrovert and an introvert. So Val, that is a challenge, but I'm also curious to know what the opportunity for you in that is. What do you think the impact will be on the homeschooling since last March? Okay. So what tips can you suggest? So the question is, you can all read it in the chat. Number one, let's use the 3 C's of thriving under pressure. So you have a 13-year-old that's going to be reintegrating, and most likely it's going to be online schooling until summer, deep level of acceptance. Is that if we use the 3 C's of thriving under pressure, is that 100%, how do you personally talk about learning from home virtually? You know, how is she framing it? And so I would suggest for the 13-year-old or any of your kids, give them a sense of control and ask them what is going to allow them to feel more safe when they return. You know, maybe that they get to pick, I mean, we're going to be really basic here, but maybe they can pick out like a special color mask that they're going to have. Maybe they can have something that they wouldn't normally have access to, that they can bring it with them to school. So give them a sense of control in terms of the reintegration. In terms of the challenge, back to the challenge, I would remind them of everything that they have them do an inventory of all the things they've already accomplished in the last year. And that really, for example, I'm just gonna put, when I think about the fact of doing this speech with you today, my adrenaline goes through the roof. When I reframe it in my mind as it's any class, I teach all the time online, I'm totally chill. So the challenge part is how much has your 13-year-old already overcome? And this is just another step in the park. All things being equal, the average child, they're going to be fine. Kids are resilient. The question is, what are they telling themselves and what are you telling themselves? And then commitment with your 13-year-old. The idea is that whatever they've learned in the last year is going to serve them over time. So they're in control. What are they in control of? Secondly, reframe the challenge as an opportunity to go back to be with the friends, like almost like redirect their sight lines. Because I hear the way some people think, you let them fall when they were learning how to walk. This is an opportunity for them to learn how to fly, and don't clip their wings. And commitment, they're going to have a new set of skills. So I believe that they're going to be okay. This is my take. And remember, I have, I don't know, 22 years of experience as my training as a psychologist. No, this is just in general. This is not therapy. It's just the way I see it. But I always do see the bright side. Oh, okay. So then Jen asks, when students say they have a lot going on in their life, how deep should I pry and how do I shut this down if they continue on for 20 minutes every time I ask? Jenna, can you tell me a little bit more? Are you teaching in the SWAC program? Or are you teaching in the dual credit? Okay, so yes, adults. I don't. You know what's interesting? I've learned I don't engage. I don't engage with that question because first of all, it's not the place to do it. And they also have access to supports, including helplines and all of those things. But I would, my take is don't, because it, just don't. And don't feel bad about it. Redirect them if they're adults, if they're at the college, okay. Yeah, let yourself off the hook. Let yourself off the hook. Yeah, don't. Okay, great. Okay, next question. So Andrea Dinardo, but it wasn't Andrea Dinardo, the one that asked about their 13-year-old, have faith in her. Have faith in her. You raised her, or him, whoever it was. And then, yeah, we got the next question. I'll take as many as you got. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I just think about what you've been through and you got there. It really is about the way you talk about it. It really has a lot to do with the way that you talk about it. Are there any other questions? Because I'm here. You got me. Is the other Andrea is probably taking care of her little one. If there aren't any more questions, I'm just going to pull up sort of have a summary slide for everybody. Okay. Do you start classes by checking in with, okay, oh, there are 2 more messages. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, in the office. Oh, okay. Okay. How to help a student realize they have time when they feel like they have no time? Oh, I love this question. I love this question because I get it all the time. How do you help a student realize they have time when they feel like they have no time? It's like this student who got a 60 and then I give them a very, or even failed, I give them a very extensive survey to fill out to ask them how many hours they studied when in fact they studied 14 minutes. They thought they studied a lot. Put everything back on them. So time management, what I'll have a student do is for a week, write down exactly how they're spending their time. So that when they say they don't have time, they're actually spending 8 hours of it online. So always put it back on them. So often if somebody asks me for something, I'll say, how about you email me? We have to be really careful that we do too much for our students. And so that if you put a 1 or 2 steps in between, we're teaching them a life skill for how badly they want it. And yeah, once again, owning the fact that they say they don't have time. No. We make time for things that matter. So how badly do they want it? My students don't have jobs, but they're always doing what? So I just posted, if you go to my YouTube site and I post, so just Dr. Andrea Dinardo, something called COVID time management, where I break the day down to $100 a day and how are they using their time. So if they're online, it's junk time. If they are complaining, it's junk time. If they are working out, it contributes to their time. So, you know, Adriana, I'd love to swear right now, but no, I don't buy it. They're wasting time. Okay, to the Andrea asked a homeschooling question, your 13-year-old, oh yes, we all believe that your 13-year-old is going to be amazing. Yes, you're homeschooled all around. See, that's another example. Excellent, that's another example. How do you create a better, how do you create a better classroom report during this time? Zoom community circles, okay, that's a really great question. What we do, because nobody takes their cameras off, most of it's in the chat. So some of you, please answer each other's questions in here too, but most of it's in the chat. Thanks, Val. Yes. I hope so. And I'll be fine. Yeah, all these Andreas out there too. I hope so. So what I do is really, I just reflect a lot back what they're putting in the chat. And I really, really, really remind them of what they've been through and what, you know, I believe in pain to power, period. Pain to power. And short mantras. Okay, this is another question Adrienne asked me earlier. I'll have them write their mantra on the board. So what is the quote, the mantra? And you can put them in the chats too. Okay, any other questions? Because I'm here for you if you have them. I think that might be it. And I know we're coming from all over Ontario, and I want to remind everybody that I have my website, which includes all of my speaking. My very first professional speaking gig was in the year 2000 for the Ontario Psychological Association, where I talked about psychology in the new millennia. Can you imagine? Back in 2000. And my take on it was we were going to need more psychology in everyday life. This is why I love being a professor, because it's not about going to the therapist's office once a week. That's great, but it's about what we do every single day in our lives, how that we can stop being so hard on ourselves. And really, we're hard on the people around us because we don't understand what is really influencing people. So psychology for everyone, that's my hope. And I have 200 psychology videos up on my YouTube. I have a TEDx talk, which is this in 12 minutes. And yeah, I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed for what I've been through in life because it prepared me for today. And so have you. So many students have anxiety. They struggle with how they handle work. Val, I have a post and an interview on its situational anxiety, that it's not necessarily clinical anxiety, and that this is where the flow comes in. So what do they need to take off their plate? What do they need to take ownership for? And then I have posts too on mental health and social media, and it's tearing those kids apart. And this may be, in fact, your kids too. So it's really not anxiety, it's overstimulation. And guess what changes that breathing space? Just think, cortisol, corn tomatoes, you name it. So we don't always have to buy into what looks like symptoms, okay? Yes, you're like, yeah, of course, our kids are sensitive, they're oversensitized, we are too, and space solves almost every problem, especially when you're in lockdown with your spouse. Thank you very much for having me. And when we accept something, it doesn't mean that we agree with it, but we agree to give it over to something bigger than us. And the opportunity to be here with you today, I do not take it for granted. Trust me, I've been every restaurant I've gone to the lot since April 1, since Andrea invited me, I've been telling everybody about all of this. So, thank you for the feedback. It will fuel me. I start May 10th, I start my next semester. Thank you, everybody. And Andrea will send her all the resources to follow up, because I hope that you feel a part of my community now, because if there's any way I can support you, whether it's becoming and doing professional development in your school boards or any of those things, I now have an official, what is that, Andrea, called? I'm an official independent contractor at St. Clair College, so I can do work there too. Thank you, and wait, thank you to the entire team for organizing this. Thank you to the chair, the co-chair, and everybody. That it took a lot of planning behind the scenes. You know this, you're all teachers and educators and support workers. And we'll make sure that you have all of these resources to follow up. And Andrea, if you want to take your mute off and say anything at the end of this, I'm putting you on the if any of you want to come in and say anything, you're welcome to. And kudos to making it all the way to the end. I appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you on behalf of everybody for taking the time out of your busy